Hi, my name's Nick.
Hi.
Welcome to the DCFS.
Nice to meet you. I'm Gabrielle.
Nice to meet you. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I am a double major at the University of Tampa, as I said earlier. I'm a double major in criminology and psychology. I minor in political science. I just recently chose to direct my career path towards DCFS just because I just realized how passionate I am about both kids and the law, and I found a way to combine those together, which I found to be great. So I'm here because I would love to further my knowledge on this in this field, and just help as many kids as I could.
So why a double major instead of a major and a minor?
So funny enough, I had a pretty hard time narrowing down what I want to do, just because I feel like I have so many interests, and I wanted to make sure that the career I chose wasn't something I would dread doing every day and something I'd be excited to do. And I think I really found that in DCFS because I get to combine the law and kids and really work one-on-one with children and really directly help their lives.
We do see some pretty gruesome and unfortunate situations here at the DCFS, and how are you going to be able to be mentally prepared to handle some of those situations?
Honestly, I've gone through a lot in my life, specifically like with me. I really, I've experienced things myself with my family, and I've also experienced things with my friends, and I have little siblings as well, so I'm very experienced with taking care of children that are in distress. I worked at an elementary school. When I was in high school, I helped with all of their problems. They would have breakdowns all the time. I know that doesn't really compare, but I know that I am ready and prepared to handle this.
How old were the kids that you were helping in the elementary school?
So I worked with 3rd to 5th graders for 3 years, and then I would move down to the elementary school, so like kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then occasionally I would go up to like 6th grade, but most of the time it was 3rd and 5th.
So what distinguishes you from other candidates in choosing this for the internship?
So during my time working at the elementary school, I would observe the ways that other counselors would handle situations where the kids were in distress, and through observing, I figured out the best way to talk to kids and connect with them. So what I've learned about through my working at the elementary school is when a kid's in distress, you sit them down and you relate to them. You sit with them, so you're not taller than them. And you really talk through and ask them questions to figure out what's going on in their head, rather than assuming and trying to figure out how to help them and just work together, rather than act like an adult, just try to be their friend more than an authority figure.
Yeah, and so these kids that we help every day, they have a lot of problems, and they have more often than not, they struggle to find ways to communicate those problems. How can you help them relay what they need to say, but in a comfortable situation?
For sure. Just like I was saying earlier, well, first of all, with the comfortable situation, I think it's really important to bring the kid into a room with just one-on-one, because that way they won't feel ganged up on, they won't feel like there's an audience. And just mostly importantly, before that, you need to create a great relationship with the kids so they can trust you. So it's not even, before they talk to you about, those hard things, it's important to take them out, relate to them with just the normal stuff before diving in. But I think once you get a great relationship with the child and have them trust you, then it should be easier. At least it was for me when I was in elementary school.
And so where do you think this field is kind of moving towards? What do you think is the future of these kind of child protective services?
I think that a lot of people actually underestimate what we do, or what you guys do. I think that this is perhaps one of the most important jobs one can have, because these children don't have anybody to look after them. So you as a person are their lifeline, basically, and that's really important for somebody who doesn't have anything. So I think the future can only go, it can evolve into better. I don't know, I think we're doing so good now that we're just helping, and all I can see is us helping more kids and expanding and figuring out better ways of attacking this problem.
And so in a perfect world, how do you see this field being a part of that?
Honestly, in the perfect world, I see this field helping every disadvantaged child that's being abused or whatever it is in their home. Although this is not a perfect world, I know that that can't happen, but I hope that with my addition to your guys' business or company, I would love to help that out and advance how many people we help.
And so say you go into a home and there is just a child that is far beyond the help of what we can provide. How can your skills and characteristics help that child?
I think, honestly, through my experience with children and communicating with them, I don't think that any child is too far from being helped. And I think that if you put enough hard work in and you talk to them and maintain a relationship, that there is hope. And if I myself can't do something about it, I will talk to different people in my department or talk to a different department within DCFS, because I think it's very important to help the kids get the help they need.
And so what are some of your main goals in person, in life, and in working with us here?
So my goal in life is really just to wake up happy and to be happy with what I'm doing every day. So by doing this, I will be furthering that, and likewise with my job, I'm coming in every day happy, being happy to do what I need to do, excited. That's just, I think, what's great.
And so one of the more unfortunate aspects we deal with in this field is like I said earlier, we see a lot of very unfortunate situations,
Right.
And so one of the things we look for in a candidate is their ability to separate work from their own personal lives. We want to make sure that as unfortunate of situations as we walk into in the field, we want to make sure that when our employees are going home, they're not, stirring over it, and obviously they're going to, because they're human and they really care, but we want to make sure it's not going to affect your happiness and it's as a whole.
For sure. So, on your time management question, I can answer that pretty well, actually. So my parents got divorced when I was 7, so from then on I had 2 houses to go to, which from the beginning requires time management. And once the years went on and high school came, that homework was added, friends were added, all of this stuff were added. So from the beginning I already had to time manage. But college, moving to a different state, having 5 siblings at home, having 2 sets of families, and also work, and also school, and also all of this, I think I've made a great time management schedule. But in my life, there have been a lot of things that have gone wrong, but I've maintained a 3.8 GPA throughout high school and college, which shows that even though there have been things that went wrong, I am able to put those aside when they need to be put aside and study and get the grade I need.
That's awesome. So if you were to enter into a house where the parents were very hostile, because interacting with parents is very different than interacting with children, how do you shift towards the parents, or would you prefer to be more focused on the children alone?
So for my knowledge on this topic, if I were to be getting this internship, or whoever works with you guys, your main focus is the kid. So I do understand that the parents do need to be talked to, and they're a huge part of this. But if I can't talk to them, if it's really hard, then I would have to assume that it would be just as hard for the child, meaning that this house is not safe for them. So with this information, I would do what would be needed to be done. So at the end of the day, it's the safety of the child that matters.
And so what makes you a better interpersonal communicator for the child than someone else?
For sure. I would say that I think I'm an outgoing person. I can talk to anybody, but specifically with kids, specifically the reason why I chose this job is because through my experience with babysitting and counselor and all of this, I think I've learned how to have kids open up to me and have them talk about their problems. And from my experience, I've just seen that I've been able to help these kids, and it's made a lasting impact on me. So I just think that my interpersonal skills with kids do trump some others.
That's a very fair assessment. And so differentiating your criminology degree from your psychology degree, those are different fields, and they combine in a lot of ways. But how does the criminology aspect factor into keeping children safe from those situations?
So I went into my criminology major in hopes of learning more regarding like the law aspect. So I learned a lot about law through my criminology classes as well. So what I've learned from my criminology classes as it pertains to this job is just the specific things that the parents should and should not be doing, and what constitutes the child to be removed from their home, and what I need to be doing as an intern or as a professional in this business in order to do what needs to be done and help the child.
And so this internship is focused majorly on children and assessing households that are not fit for the child.
Yes.
It's very, very little interaction with the actual child. It's just finding the houses or the situations where we need to go into. And so how does the criminology aspect and all of those laws you learned about help you? How would that help you determine which is the most important situation to get into first?
Well, for the law aspect, for the criminology aspect, I would like.
Or so I should ask. What do you think is the most important situation to get a child out of? Like, what takes priority?
Like, what kind of household situation?
Yeah, so abuse or lack of attention. Like,
right.
Which kind of those situations do you think is the most important to get the child out of?
Right. Well,
first?
I think that especially for children, like, pain is relational. So like, even if it's like, I mean, attention is a little like, to be honest, like on the lower side than like abuse, but like, to a certain extent, like the child can still be feeling the same thing, like feeling the same sadness, and somebody else is getting it, harder. But my answer to your question is definitely like if a child's getting abused, like that is grounds for removal for sure. For the attention part, I would have to talk to the parents. I'd have to talk to the children, and same with abuse. But when I'm hearing abuse, that is way more shocking and serious to me than attention, which is still serious, but it just would require more speedier, get there
recovery.
faster. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm very impressed. And my final question is, do you have any questions for us?
I was just wondering if your guys' internship is paid or unpaid. I would love to work with you guys either way, but I just thought it would.
So it actually is a paid
ask.
internship. You will get minimum wage.
Okay.
And it's limited hours. It's about 20 to 30 hours a week.
Okay.
But that's totally subject to change, and it's so the internship is actually leads into a path of working here full time with a career.
Perfect.
And it's a gateway for sure.
Perfect. That was my other question. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.